Good morning to you again. I'm Christy McDonald from the Local 4 newsroom. We are beginning our live coverage of James Crumbley's trial. Today begins jury selection, and a pool of juries have been brought to the Oakland County courthouse. Again, James Crumbley is the dad of the Oxford High School shooter, and he has been charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, just like the 4 counts that his wife was convicted of about a month ago. So this begins the process again, where the prosecutors have to prove that it was James Crumbley this time that was grossly negligent, that he should have been able to foresee that his son was capable of opening fire on Oxford High School back on November 30th, 2021. This is a process now we go through when it's time to pick a jury. Oakland County pulls in a pool of several hundred people, and now they have to go through carefully and see if the people they seat on the jury will be able to take this case at face value and the evidence that is put in front of them, to not be able to judge it on everything they've heard about this case, because of course this case has made international news. I want to get now to Shawn Ley, who of course has been covering this story since the beginning, for actually several years when you add it all up again, and was in Jennifer Crumbley's trial as well. Shawn joins me now from the Oakland County courthouse. All right, Shawn, here we go for James's trial. Why don't you go ahead and set up what you've been able to see this morning, because of course we can't have cameras in the courtroom today when they pick the jury.
Correct. Christy, thanks for having me. Here's the deal. They still have phone booths here in the Oakland County Courthouse. So I just left Judge Cheryl Matthews, the same judge as the Jennifer Crumbley trial. She presided over that trial. Just left her courtroom where jury selection is slowly getting started. I jumped into the phone booth here so we could have a private conversation and not interrupt any other courts doing our reporting here. But here's the deal. We settled in at 8:15 this morning. Things were supposed to start around 8:30. Very slow start. And around 9:30, then deputies brought in James Crumbley. He was wearing a gray suit. We just showed video here on Local 4 Plus of James Crumbley in an orange jumpsuit, shackled from jail. That's old video from when he had many appearances in court. Today, he is in a gray suit. He has a haircut. He's wearing a headset to deal to help him aid in his hearing. He's hard of hearing somewhat. He said the headset, he told the judge, helps him a great deal. So, slow start here. 308 people from Oakland County have been called here to the courthouse today. They're in a different wing of the courthouse, and they're filling out a questionnaire. The questionnaire to help the attorneys, prosecutors, and defense attorneys whittle down who they think will be right for this jury. So 308, and they're going to be called up right now in the next time. It's been a slow start here, Christy, but about 100 at a time, Judge Matthews says, to start questioning them, let a juror go or keep a juror. And we saw this process and learned a lot from it, frankly, when we went through it and sat through every moment of the Jennifer Crumbley jury selection. Just making sure you guys, the shot's going to work for you guys. Anyway, that's where we stand right now, Christy. I'm going to head back in, but any other questions you might have. So Crumbley's here. They took him back while they're going to call up those jurors. We asked for the questionnaire, Christy, and we were told this time we're not going to get our hands on it. And you think about it, because we already had such a high-profile trial with James Crumbley's wife. And then if we get the questionnaire and see what kind of questions potential jurors are being asked, well, they may have to call more jurors here. That might just put more information out into the stratosphere and whittle down, kind of shrink the pool of people who might be available for this jury.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, Shawn, clarify for us, for everyone watching, you know, the defense attorney wanted to change the venue, saying that James Crumbley couldn't get a fair trial because of Jennifer's case that happened just a month ago. The judge shot that down and said, look, I mean, there's no one who probably hasn't heard of James Crumbley at this point. It's going to come down to questioning of the jurors, which is what they call voir dire. But they did, the judge did give extra challenges. So can you explain that? The prosecution and the defense both can challenge a juror that's maybe picked.
And that's pretty fair. And Judge Matthews, she presides over these cases in such a steady manner. Sure, more challenges because you're right. You're going to put people on there. We had teachers. We had people from all walks of life being questioned in the Jennifer Crumbley jury selection process. Will be the same here, but this pool will likely have more knowledge about this case than, say, the last pool, because we just went through a high-profile shooting. You follow the timeline here, a horrific school shooting, and then everything that happened in between, the pleading guilty by the shooter, the conviction of the mother, and now here. So finding people who are just completely know nothing about it, that's not going to happen. So more challenges just to give both sides a fair shake if they have a question about if that juror can be fair and impartial. Now, during Jennifer Crumbley's jury selection, most people said, yes, I'm aware. Yes, I'm a news consumer. Yes, I followed it closely. Yes, heart is broken from it. But each time, each side, prosecutor and defense attorney would ask, can you be fair on this jury? They say, absolutely. So that's kind
Yeah.
of the answer you get. Once in a while, you heard from someone to say I'm anti-police or anti-authority, or I've already formed an opinion about this, and that person would be cut loose.
Yeah. All right, Shawn Ley, we're going to let you get back into the courtroom
Okay.
because then you're able to actually be our eyes and ears in terms of how
Yeah.
jurors are answering these questions and if they start to put people aside. So we'll let you go. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll see you back here, though, on Local 4 Plus around 12:30, 12:40, so you can give us another update on that. All right. Thanks so much, Shawn. And again, this is just day one of jury selection. You know, a lot of things that we think about in this case. We've done extensive interviews with our legal experts to talk about what will really be some of the keys maybe in James Crumbley's case. And we don't know because we don't have the prosecutor's playbook or how the defense plans to step up and say, no, James Crumbley had no idea what was going on with his son. But these are some of the keys we think that we can point out. One of them will be taking a look at the shooter's journal that is going to be into evidence again. That was in Jennifer Crumbley's case. That is one of the largest things that we see where the shooter is talking about his father and how he asked for help and the father did not give him help. Also, text messages that are going to be allowed between the shooter and a friend where he says, I asked my dad for help and to go to the doctor and he said, suck it up, just take a pill. Those are some of the things that we could see coming in play here. Another thing that we, of course, will be talking about is the gun that was used in this case. We know from Jennifer's case and the evidence that was put in there that gun was purchased just 4 days before the shooting. It was purchased by James Crumbley. He's the one that signed for it and said that he would take possession of it. Jennifer Crumbley, in her trial, talked about how it was James's responsibility to store that gun. So you better believe that there's going to be a lot of conversations surrounding whose responsibility it was and storage of the gun. Jennifer said that her husband hid the gun, that was the right thing to do. So those are some of the things that are going to come into play. But then we're looking at the defense's side. Will James take the stand in this case like his wife did? What kind of demeanor will the defense try to portray and what kind of father James Crumbley was? Did he know that his son was under mental duress? We'll probably also hear from the school in that meeting that James and Jennifer Crumbley had with the school counselor the day of the shooting and with their son when the counselor showed them that math paper that had all of the drawings on it. And of course, we know that hours later, that's when the shooter opened fire at the high school, and there's the paper that we're talking about there. So there are a lot of aspects that we have seen before in Jennifer's case, but it will remain to be seen how it comes out in James's case here, because this is an entirely different case that the prosecution has to prove. It will be a new jury, and it was also a new defense attorney. James and Jennifer Crumbley do not have the same defense attorney, so it will be a new attorney who maybe had the benefit of seeing how Jennifer's case played out. So jury selection begins today. You heard Shawn say 308 jurors have been called in the pool. They are filling out questionnaires, and then they are going to be called in groups to start the questioning. But it is a little bit of a slow process once people fill out those questionnaires, and then both sides get to start to look through, and then they get to question potential jurors in this case. It did take about a day and a half for them to seat a jury in Jennifer Crumbley's case. Now, what does that mean in this case? Again, we've stressed so much that these are two different cases, but if it took about a day and a half to get 17 jurors, and again, you have 12 and 5 alternates, that because there was so much national press surrounding this case, perhaps it might take a little bit longer to make sure that they seat an impartial jury to be able to hear this case. So we're going to be with you through here on Local 4 Plus through the entire way. Come back and see us for Local 4 News at noon, and then a comprehensive look at what's happening today, some of the legal issues that are at play at 12:30 today on Local 4 Plus and the Daily Plus Live. So I'm going to leave it there for now and bring you back to our programming on Local 4 Plus, but I'll see you very soon.